Broadcasting live from our Columbia, Maryland headquarters. They are founders of Hard Money Bankers, REI 360, and are international bestsellers with their book, The Whiteboard. Here are Jason Balin and Chris Haddon.
So I was thinking about this topic of the importance of a positive work environment recently. Just yesterday we had in here a friend down from Philadelphia who's working with a client right here at this very table. Some other clients, some friends, were working with Jason and Julie on some software that we use. And of course our normal team was here and everything, Glenn's working on his agency and the foundation, everything else, all different stuff is going on. It's all positive, it's all cool. You get to hear what other people are up to, you get feedback, you even end up pushing yourself a little bit. It's just an important thing that I think not everyone has access to, or maybe just isn't even aware that they should consider it an important thing.
Yeah, and I think as we've grown as people, as Hard Money Bankers and some of our other businesses have grown, our environment has grown, and our employees have grown, our staff has grown. The amount of people that kind of are in our sphere and in our network that come into our office has grown. We've always been, one of the reasons we got this space is it was something we were proud of. When we had some crappy spaces in the past, it was one of the things like we didn't really want clients and stuff to come in. It's like, this is your dump. So we wanted to get a good environment, and as
more space than we needed.
Exactly, and as we grow, maybe we'll get a bigger fantasy factor, basketball hoops, skateboard parks, all kinds of cool stuff. But the reason it is you have a smile on your face. Mentally, you're excited to come to work. Staff members as well. We do catered lunches. We do a lot of different things on a regular basis to have good work environment, good interaction. If you're happy when you come to work every day, you're gonna work harder. And when we're grinding in our office for maybe like an hour straight, and we walk out the office and they're like, oh, there's a hoverboard here, there's some physio balls, and no matter how bad the day is, you kind of look up and you smile and be like, oh, cool, this is a good work environment. I'm gonna go to the refrigerator, get me a tasty beverage, and and you're good. So
For sure.
so that's us, obviously, and everybody's different. But I think the importance of this is first to understand why, why it's important, and we understand that a lot of you are maybe one-man bands, or you have a partner, maybe you work at your house, you're a real estate investor, realtor, real estate agent. Run a law firm, you're a service provider, you run a marketing agency, whatever the case is, and maybe you don't have a 10-person staff. Maybe you're smaller. So we want you to understand the importance of, even if you do work out of your house, what are some tips and tricks and other things that you can kind of grasp the same company culture or business culture as we have.
Yeah, and before we get into a couple of the examples of what people can do to maybe level up their workplace environment, one of the big things for me in particular, in addition to just a positive and fun place to be, which is awesome and is possibly number one, but also I think just your performance can be enhanced, increased by being in the right place. Like, I'm going to get better stuff done from here than I am from home. And I've said this for a while, I like to work from work and I like to home from home. I don't like to work from home. I don't really like to home from work. Maybe sometimes. So yeah, when other people are working on their stuff, Jason's doing the video show, the Private Money Minute and all that, and Glenn's working on this, and all this is going on, I'm just compelled to cross more things off my list, put more things on my list for the next day. Just stuff that I wouldn't do if I were just a solo guy with a MacBook and the headphones on. It's different. It levels up. Just like when you play sports with people who are better than you are, you end up improving because of that. Same thing, same concept.
Yeah, and you're utilizing their energy that they have. If they're in there grinding, if Tony's in his office right now selling, I'm happy as hell. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna go back into my office and grind. So whenever somebody's down, that person next to you brings them up. So you got to figure out a way to kind of surround your positive sphere with you, even if you're a one-man band. So a few different call to actions that we're actually thinking about. If you were a one-man operation, and we look back to when we started, because when we started we were partners, but we both worked out of individual houses, and we didn't have an office. And then we finally got an office, and we became a lot more productive, and that small cost of an office space, $1,000 a month or whatever it is, backed out immediately just because the productivity that we had being aligned. But let's say you're just a one-man operation and you're not going to be able to get a partner. Things that you can do, there are a lot of these areas, especially in cities, Baltimore City, Washington, D.C., have local incubators. You don't need to surround yourself. This has nothing to do with surrounding yourself necessarily. Maybe sometimes it's good, sometimes not, with the same trade that you're in or the same industry. Doesn't matter if everybody there doesn't need to be real estate investors. They don't need to be real estate agents. They don't need to be surround yourself with other doctors, attorneys, whatever the case is. It's just everybody's there for a common cause, and it's to grow and perform and be around the right people that are grinding and doing productive things every day.
Yeah, so a couple examples of different people in different industries, what they can do. Around the time we started talking about this topic, and later on we named our meetup group the Real Estate Incubator, and we had that idea for this workspace here is after Jason and I went to a startup incubator in DC called 1776, which is the traditional style of incubator, if there is such a thing as traditional style, but where people pay for space. Shared space, they might have their designated workstations, whatever. Different tech startups, which is their niche, can work from this awesome space, and you go in there, it's just so cool, all the stuff they have, and it makes you want to build cool things and just make stuff happen. And we've tried to replicate that a little bit here. So that's one example. If it's a shared workspace sort of thing, like an incubator, it could be maybe two people in the same industry, like attorneys, for example. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up here. Decide to work out of the same office, shared office space, for that synergy and for maybe trading ideas or pushing each other or setting up competitions. Maybe it's a monthly revenue competition or whatever. It's all good stuff.
And a lot. I mean, how many real estate agents do we know that say, "Oh, I never go into my office. I just work from home."
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's a big one.
It's great to have the flexibility to work from home. Mm-hmm. And maybe you don't have kids and or they're at school or whatever, and you can be productive and you can be zoned in your office. But there's those few days a week where you can get that extra push and you could get that kind of grind mode by being associated with other realtors, real estate agents in your office. And I mean, I'm talking about the real people that have positive energy. Someone's just going to sit around and don't do anything. Don't sit next to them.
Sit
next to real estate, real estate agents, with the right people that are constantly grinding. And at the very least, a quick call to action that you could do starting tomorrow, at the very least, if you're working from home, is call somebody who you know in your industry, a partner, a friend, somebody who's doing similar stuff. Maybe you're a real estate investor and you have a wholesaler friend. Call them and be like, listen, let's put a standing appointment on our calendar to meet for 2 hours at this restaurant every week or a few days a week, and start with that and be like, hey, what are you doing? And bring your laptops, do your thing, and you're just going to get positive energy from that person over and over and over. You don't need to build out a whole big office. Nobody's knocking having a small, extremely profitable one-man operation. I think that's great. We've been there before, but this is more about being productive, surrounding yourself with the right sphere of influence, and feeding off the energy of everybody else.
Absolutely. I think if you can level up your environment, you're going to level up your performance.
Yeah,
just like that.
We'd love to get some comments related to this. What's one or two things that feed you, that all of a sudden you're in the right environment with the right people, and you're like, wow, it's just one of those things. Every time I'm there, I'm just feeling good. Because back to that mental side, I agree. We could all work from home, and we could all have virtual teams and things like that, and it's cheaper to do a lot of those things, and I get that. But it's hard to put a price tag on, how mentally strong you are, having everybody around yourself, and how much more productive you are, even if it costs a little bit more money. My guess is it backs out times 10, just based on the profitability and how much more effective you can get. So as always, like, comment, share, subscribe. We always really, really appreciate all the feedback that you have. I'm Jason, this is Chris. Until next time.